So in a game where you shoot 46 times on the net and the other team shoots 27, you'd really expect to win that by a pretty big margin, right? Right? You'd think, but this is the LA Kings we're talking about, and another one of those games, which, God, is just getting way too familiar at this point. The Kings end up losing in a shootout. Because of course they do. So first period, we're playing Columbus, who, for some reason, the East Coast got really good this season. Montreal has lost 7 games this entire season. The Blue Jackets and the Flyers are now both on a 10-game winning streak. It's insane. And, of course, the Kings are in the midst of their 7-game East Coast road trip. Awesome time to be away over Christmas. Now, they played really well against Pittsburgh. Budaj totally stole that game, earned the heck out of that shutout, played incredibly well in Boston, still managed to lose 1-0. And again, I'm not putting that on Budaj in any way. He was screened on that first shot that went in and then managed to be stellar all night long, and the Kings just couldn't score. And for the first, 2 periods, it almost looked like that was going to be what happened again. The Kings were going to be just absolutely dominating on shots, not able to get anything through, and then we were going to make one stupid mistake and they score and then lose, which is almost what happened. So Budaj earns his start in net, like I said, and it looks like we're going to need him because the first thing the Kings do is get a penalty, and they kill it incredibly well. It didn't help the Blue Jackets at all. In fact, it almost helped the Kings because it was not a game of back and forth per se. It was a game of surges. So they opened up with the first 3 shots on goal and then got a power play, and the Kings still hadn't done anything. But they took that and then they surged back for the next few minutes and did really good, and then took another stupid penalty. It was Forbort and then Muzzin. So 2 defensemen are taking penalties that you're just like, okay. It's fine, because again, Budaj did really well, and we surged back after that, and we managed to keep surging for the whole first period, but nothing was going in the net. And I don't know if that's because, puck luck, or the Kings were just not making that extra little adjustment that they needed to, or if their goaltender was just really good. I'm not gonna lie, he made some pretty good saves. The Kings also did a couple of, they're, posts, that close, and you're just... frustrating. So, second period starts. The Kings are just, out-shooting the crap out of them. It's pretty bad. We're doubling, almost tripling their shots on goal. We have 27 or something, or 23 or whatever, and then, yeah, sure enough, it's their second goal of the period. Second or third shot of the period. 10 shots on goal, and they score. Because of course they do. Kings have all the momentum, all the good play, and yet they're up 1-0. And then the Kings kind of let them take over a little bit there. Just for a second, and then wait, no, we're the Los Angeles Kings, the mighty and glorious Kings of Los Angeles. We don't let stuff like this happen. So they take it back. And Jeff Carter scores on the power play. Kings' first power play of the game. End of the second period. Jeff Carter's like, what? My shot's beautiful. Actually, it was Martinez's shot, and then he deflected it off his skate. No distinct kicking motion, so it does not... it does count as a goal, so... And just, gorgeous deflection that he knew to have. His stick was going, so whatever. It's a Jeff Carter goal. It's great. We go into the third period, at this point, and Atkinson, who scored their first goal, sure enough, goes and scores their second, and it's 3-4 minutes into the third period, and they're up 2-1, because, again, of course they are. And like I said, at this point, we're out shooting them 30-something to 17. It's insane just how many shots the Kings are peppering them with, and none of them are going through. Pearson, Dowd, and Setaguchi were on a line today. I know Brown's usually on that line, but he is still a little banged up. He and Cliffy were both out tonight. They had some gorgeous plays. When Pearson gets close to the net, he did so many things tonight that just made me want to cry. They were so beautiful. Drew Doughty is really taking his role as assistant captain to heart, and he was making all kinds of zone entries that were beautiful. This is what I liked about the Kings game tonight, is there were no dump and chases. I mean, there were probably some, but for the most part, it looked like they were actually controlling their zone entries and doing something with the puck when they got there. So Drew would take it over, Tanner would get it, and beautiful things would happen, except none of them resulted in goals. Until Jeff Carter decides, you know what, Atkinson shouldn't be the only one who's on deck for a hat trick. I think I'm going to get my second. So he does. It's the typical Jeff Carter snipe that only he can do so beautifully, and the Blue Jackets hate him for it so much. I don't need to remind you that in 2012, we got Jeff Carter from the Blue Jackets and won a Stanley Cup. And then in 2014, we got Marian Gaborik from the Blue Jackets and won a Stanley Cup. And the Blue Jackets have won, oh, that's right, no Stanley Cups. So they hate Carter quite a bit. Even though it wasn't really his choice to be traded, we clearly got the better end. And maybe they're just better. I don't know. I'm still pretty bitter that Lucic left and is doing really well in Edmonton. Or at least Edmonton is doing really well. I don't know how much it has to do with Lucic. Sidebar, not the point. Jeff Carter ties it up. It's 2-2. The Kings get a last-minute power play. They have a minute 26 on the power play at the end of the third. And yet the Blue Jackets get the best chance with this 2-on-1 that Doughty takes huge offense to because they kind of did stuff after the whistle to Budaj, and Doughty's like, no, I'm not having any of that. So no penalties were called. Andreoff did get, at the end of the second period, with like 4.5 minutes remaining, a fighting major. But, you know, whatever, that's Andreoff. I'm not surprised in any way, shape, or form. So the Kings are notoriously amazing when it comes to 3-on-3 overtime. Not so much when it gets to the shootout, so I'm actually a little concerned that they had 34, however many seconds left of a power play, because then that's 4-on-4, and really they just needed to do, like, go off sides and get a whistle blown so they could get back to 3-on-3, because honestly that first minute and a half, 2 minutes were basically wasted. The Kings needed to do what they do best, which is 3-on-3, and they couldn't get it through again, so we go to a shootout, and I'm much less confident in a shootout than I am with the 3-on-3. So sure enough, first shot gets by Budaj. That kind of sucks. Second shot, first shot, I'm sorry, for the Kings, doesn't get by their goaltender. Second shot gets by Budaj. Not looking so good, but then we got Jeff Carter, who, I mean, I know it's not technically a hat trick, but he did put 3 pucks in the net by the end of the game, so, you know, whatever. Thank you, Jeff. We love you. Unfortunately, he was the only one who could score for the Kings this evening. Budaj did stop the third shot for the Blue Jackets. It didn't matter because Gaborik couldn't get the third shot for the Kings that we needed to continue the shootout, so we fall 3-2 in a game where we were out shooting them 46-27. How do you lose a game when you have 46 shots on goal and they have 27? Only the LA Kings can do this. They drive me crazy. I love them, but dear God, if any one of them could actually shoot with accuracy or something, then we wouldn't be in this problem. 46, guys! So it's a very long road trip. The Kings are now 2 losses, 2 wins, and an overtime loss. And it's only because they can't score. The defense is doing what they need to, so let's hope that the game on Thursday and the game right after that on Friday, our offense picks up and our defense stays as solid as it has been. Fingers crossed, we'll see.